What's up, Ninjababes? Welcome to the podcast. I'm here with Taylor Johnson. Hi.
Hello.
How are
What's up?
you? What's
I'm
up?
good.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm like super excited to have you on. And I feel like you're one of those ninjas that a lot of people know, but I don't know if a lot of people know like about you and know your whole story. And so I'm really pumped to have you.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I'm super excited for this opportunity to get on here today.
Yeah, so I also love that we're both wearing A&W shirts today.
Oh yeah, always representing.
Yeah, this is not planned.
Nope.
It just kind of happened.
I didn't even know there
So
was supposed to be visuals, and I was like, this is literally what I just happen to have on. So,
perfect. I love it. So, Taylor, where are you from? Where do you live now? And how did you get started in Ninja?
I'm 26 years old, standing at 4'11". I live in Foxborough, Massachusetts. I grew up doing gymnastics, competitive cheerleading. I did some track in high school, and then I went to college for acrobatics and tumbling at Quinnipiac, which was in Hamden, Connecticut. So then I actually got involved with ninja by just randomly after during grad school. So after I finished doing acrobatics tumbling, I was kind of like a lost soul. Like my whole life, I'd been doing a sport, and I was like, "What's next?" Like I had no idea how to. Like I was like trying to work out, but I'm a very competitive person, so I just didn't have anything to be like. I had no goals. Like there, like I had like goals for kind of outside for like work related, but I didn't have any more sports goals, and it was driving me nuts. So me and two of my friends ended up just randomly going to an adult ninja class nearby, and that was starting in September of 2017. And then those next few months, I just kind of started doing it for fun. Like there was anything serious. And then when I went home for winter break, I just happened to just binge watch American Ninja Warrior episodes, like just like so many of them. And I ended up being like, wait, I can do this. I was like, this is something I can do. Like I had like an aha moment. So I decided when I went back after break, I was like, I'm actually going to train. Like I'm taking this seriously, and kind of just took off from there.
Wow, that's cool. Wait, so did you know Casey Rothschild? Like, did you go to circus school together? No, different
No,
place.
nope, different
Okay,
place. I saw her at the
I
gym
re-
at the ninja gym sometimes, so I met her like back
okay,
years ago. But no, I didn't do
okay. Because
circus.
for a second, I was like, wait a second. Okay, got it. That's awesome. I actually did not realize that you've done so many different sports and been involved with athletics like really hardcore, like for a long time.
Oh
That's
yes, my
awesome.
whole life. That's all I've done. I've always been an athlete.
That's awesome. Is there like a favorite other besides Ninja Warrior? Has there been like another favorite sport or activity that you were involved in, or like a favorite moment?
I'd probably say when I was at acrobatics and doing acrobatics tumbling in college, because doing a college sport is like also usually a dream of like for
Hmm.
anyone growing up, especially being able to get a scholarship. And it's not as common when you're coming from a background of gymnastics and cheerleading. And it's
Hmm.
actually kind of cool because acrobatics and tumbling is a new sport, like it's a brand new sport. It's creating opportunities for women in college. So it's able to kind of balance those Title Nines at certain schools. So being a kind of a pioneer in that and creating all these new opportunities for women, it was just an incredible opportunity. And I think my favorite proud moment was my junior year when I got All American that year, and I got MVP that year too. So that was a great accomplishment. So I love doing that.
Awesome. That's really cool. When was your first year that you applied for A&W then?
So I didn't apply until for season 11. So I didn't apply in season 10. Season 10, I just went to Baltimore and I tested. Um, I didn't do that great. I actually had like a super gnarly peel out on the on wing nuts. And wait, did I say
Okay.
Philadelphia? Did
In
I say Philly?
Philly is
Philly.
where
I said
Wingnuts were,
Baltimore. I
yeah.
meant Philly. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Philly in season 10. And I actually got a top tester sticker there. So then I was like, okay, because I didn't want to apply that season because like I hadn't really decided like fully at that point, and I knew I was not anywhere like when I first started Ninja, like I was not that good. Like even with my background being like athletics, like I was not good. Like getting a lache was very hard for me. So yeah, so I didn't apply until season 11.
especially now working at Meadowlands Gymnastics and Ninja Gym in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. They a lot of the gymnasts there and a lot of the gymnastics coaches, they'll come over and they want to try ninja, and they're strong. Like they're definitely absolutely strong, but the some of the technique of how to do things in ninja is very different. And I don't have a gymnastics background, so I don't always understand like the cues that are different for them, but I see it when they're attempting stuff. So it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I think the weirdest part was getting used to kind of throwing yourself off a bar, because I feel like we're used to like doing giants where you're keeping your hands on the bar the whole time usually.
Mhm.
Whereas instead you're like releasing mid, like I think the timing, it's like timing. But once you
Mhm.
get it, then it's fine. But it's a matter of breaking that habit then, because most people, once you get into ninja, you've been doing gymnastics for a decent amount of time. So your
Yeah.
body's just like ingrained to do it that way. So you kind of have to throw some of those old techniques out the window and you got
Yeah.
to be more flowy. Like I feel like the back legs, like how in ninja we like kick our back legs and our knees are bent and like it doesn't look that pretty. Like that was a
Mhm.
complete opposite in gymnastics, so it was weird.
Yeah, what that's so true. Because one of the coaches last night who was trying stuff with me, she was like, "I keep wanting to just, like, keep a hollow the whole time," and I was like, "Yeah, that's true, like, you can't." Like
Yeah, you can't. You have to break that habit. It's so weird.
yeah, wow. And then sorry, another side tangent, Janelle Copa or Janelle Agnes now, I'm sorry, she's married. She used to always say when we would do ninja together, she would, like, jump off the bar and, like, finish a line and, like, throw her hands up in the air.
Yes, I
I was
love
like,
that.
good job."
That
Yeah,
was like
Jan
I think Ellie Hart does that too. Ellie Hart does that too. She still has those gymnastics things just ingrained in her head.
I love it. Oh man. So okay, so season 10 testing, season 11 applied and you made it to Baltimore, correct?
Yep.
How did it feel going into your rookie season in Baltimore?
So I was super excited. Like I had all kinds of adrenaline, but I think I had it to the point where I almost had too much adrenaline. And it was absolutely freezing, as I know you know, because you were there too. So it was super cold. So trying to stay warm, but like I almost like I felt warm because I had so much adrenaline, but I think my muscles weren't actually warm. So it was kind of hard to balance that because I think everyone was thinking they were warm, but they actually weren't. So and I remember seeing like I ran kind of in the middle of the pack, and I remember kind of seeing people go out on dangerous curves, and I was like I can do that obstacle. Like I was like think about the stuff that you do in the gym. I was like I could totally do that obstacle. So when I got there, I was fine going up, and then I like came to the top, and I was trying to stay like super relaxed. I was like, you can do this, just stay relaxed. And then when I turned around the other side and reached over, I put my hands to come back down, and I just put one of my hands just a little bit too low, and I just it was just like too low to be able to hang on with both, and like my top hand just slipped off, and it was just I don't know. It was just literally slipped, and I was like, "What just happened?" Like I remember being freezing and coming out of the water, being like, "What just happened?" I was like, "I could have done that." So it was kind of disappointing, but I mean,
Yeah.
first season, I tried.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a mess today. I did not plug in my laptop. I had to run over there and grab my cord. I
I
don't
knew
know
you were
what
doing
is
something. I just kept talking. I
I
was
know.
like, okay.
I definitely understood your story because my I could hear it a little bit through the headphones because I was just like right there.
Yes.
But I'm so sorry for everyone who's watching right now. I've just been a hot mess. Taylor came on and I was like, sorry, I was on the phone. And then I was like, wait, I forgot my headphones. Wait, I forgot. Okay, so wow, I don't know what's going on.
It's all
All right,
right. We're
so
good.
back it up. Dangerous curves. Okay, I was on that obstacle too. I fell in the same spot. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was like going up was like, all right, here I go. And
We're
then like
fine.
propeller was a little bit scary, like going around. But then coming down, you probably said this part, but which part, like coming down, did you feel like it was the drop between the boards? It was like that wiggle part.
So I was on the first board, and I had two of my hands on the top. I dropped my right hand down onto the top curve, and then
Mm-hmm.
I dropped my left hand down to like the bottom curve, and it was just
Mm.
a pretty big gap for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when I was gonna go bump my right hand to match it because it was a decent, and it just like I didn't even have like my hand just like my right hand just slipped off. Like I was like when I
Mm-hmm.
was in the water, I was just like, what even just happened? Like it was
Yeah.
just literally just slipped off with one hand. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can link to a dangerous curves example. If your video is on YouTube, I can link to it. Otherwise, mine's on there where I fall. But
Yeah.
I can link to show people what we're talking about if they don't know. But yeah,
Yes.
and it's funny too because I feel like on A&W, it's like my first season, rookie season, like my qualifying run, I feel like I was just very happy go lucky and was like not ignorant, but you know how they say like ignorance is bliss. I was just like, I'm on American Ninja Warrior. Like I am just doing ninja. Like there's no worries. And then after that I felt like I think I did definitely deal with a lot of the pressure of like, oh now there's the expectation of I should probably get up the wall or I should probably do really good. But I think even in Baltimore, like, same thing. I was like, I could do this dangerous curves obstacle. Like, it's not like anything I haven't done before. But then it's like, I don't know if it's nerves or I don't know if it's just like the way, I don't know, you make one false move and like that's it. But that's one thing that I'm really thinking about for this season is like, how can I not be in my head and how can I just enjoy doing ninja and like not worry about it? So,
Yeah, and actually it's funny that you bring that up because that was actually a really big benefit of last season. I know I remember me and Naj had a conversation about this was that I think we all knew going into it like it was almost like we had like a weight lifted off of us because one we knew that almost no one had the training that they wanted to going into season 12 because most of the gyms were closed. You were working with whatever you have. Like everyone knew they were not at like their kind of highest potential that they could be at. And then also a matter of like the fact that we got to compete in general. Like we were just like I'm just grateful to be here. Like all of us were just saying that. Like, everyone would just be happy to for the opportunity to compete. So it kind of took that pressure off, which is why I think season 12 went a lot better for me. So it definitely made a big difference this year. So hopefully, I mean, same thing with this year. Like there's less competitors and it's a different vibe. So it'll definitely be a different vibe for
mhm.
you this year too.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. So then let's talk about season 12. How did you feel? I know you said a little bit about how you felt going into it, but um, how did the course feel for you? What were the obstacles like for you in the first, well, in any of it? Just talk about how did it feel?
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely felt more confident going into season 12, but a lot of it was because of kind of what I did in season 11. So after I fell on in city qualifiers, I was like, okay, I'm not just letting my season 11 just end right there. Like, no, that's not happening. So I showed up the next day and tested for city finals, and I got redemption on dangerous curves. Um, and then I got to do actually a full course run in first city finals and got to crank it up. And then I went to Cincinnati. I cleared every obstacle in qualifiers for Cincinnati and testing. And then I went to Vegas and got on all the obstacles there and like did double dipper, did tire run. So I think I kind of gave myself more confidence on A&W obstacles because as much as we have gyms around here, A&W obstacles are very unique. So the more that you get on them, the more experience you're getting. So I think that was helpful for me going into season 12. And I think that pressure thing that I was talking about before, it definitely made a big difference too. So looking at the course, I was like, oh, I can. Going into it, I was like, if I clear the third obstacle, I can clear this course. So clearing, what it was like the monkey bars to the ring thing. So if because I had a feeling I wasn't going to be fast enough to get to the big one, so I just went for the little one, and I was like, if I can clear that, I think I can clear this course. Um, and especially because when I tested in season 11 in Cincinnati, I did Slingshot and I cleared it. So I was like, I know if I get there, I can do it. So I got there, but then I pumped out in the middle of it. So that was kind of frustrating because I knew it was an obstacle I could do. But I also, in the back of my mind, knew that my training wasn't where it needed to be because all the gyms had been closed. So it was kind of a frustrating point. And the other thing I kind of think of in my head, like my goal is to be the shortest one up the 14.5 foot warped wall. That I didn't get to train the wall at all while gyms were closed. And like, I'm the kind of person where I need to train the wall regularly. So I kind of like look back and I'm like, maybe that was a blessing I fell on that because if I got to the wall and then didn't get the wall, I would have been super upset. So I think that was kind of, I don't know. I think I would get nervous to actually get there and then go out on the wall. So this season I'm
Yeah, I
definitely
could see that.
definitely training wall all the time now. Yeah.
That's good. Be ready. Um,
Oh,
so
I'm getting
then
ready.
The rest of season 12, then you moved on, right? How did it feel? How did you qualify then? And because I know for some people it's still confusing. What was the cutoff for the different levels in season 12?
Yeah. So I made it to Slingshot, and I got the second female spot, which was behind Alyssa, and then there were three females, so Sandy Zimmerman moved on as well. And I actually made top 12, so I got the 12th spot overall, moving on. Um, so that was exciting. So going into semifinal, this is my first time moving on, obviously, because season 11 didn't go well, but so I was super excited to move on. Had a lot of energy and was like ready to bring it into it. And then, so then while I was out there, after every single round, you get COVID tested. So after I moved on to semifinals, they tested me, and someone I had been around tested positive. So there was a chance I wasn't going to get to compete in semifinals. And I was like, okay. But luckily, they ended up deciding I was not considered a close contact because I wasn't really around the person that much. But that's why I ended up getting pushed to the second semifinal. And we ended up, because they needed to wait for because I had to they wanted me to get tested again. So they were like, get tested again, come back negative, then you compete in semifinals. So I think I found out like the night before competing that I was actually going to be competing in semifinals. So it was like a whirlwind. Like I was like, am I competing? Am I not
Oh
competing? I made
yeah.
it on. That's exciting. I might have COVID. Like it was just like it was just like all these things
Wow.
that was super crazy. Um, yeah, it was an interesting time, and I had to quarantine in my room in the meantime. So it was just like FaceTiming friends from my room. Like I literally wasn't allowed to leave my room, so I had like food delivered. Like Naj brought me waters and left them outside my room. Like it was just like,
Oh man.
yeah, I don't know. It was stressful. So going into semifinals, I was kind of just like, again, in the position where I was like, I'm just grateful to get to be standing on this platform to compete. Like, I was like, the fact that I'm here, I'm like, this is okay. I was like, I'm grateful for this. Um, so then looking at the semifinals course, I honestly, I felt really confident, and I was like, I can get my redemption on Slingshot. I was like, this is my redemption. So I made it easily through obstacles 1 and 2, and then I got to 3, which was Clockwork. I think the name of it was the one with like the gears. It was like they look like big 3 gears that are connected to each other.
Yeah.
Um,
It was something about clocks.
yeah. I think it was Clockwork, maybe. Anyway, um, so I got on the first one, and being smaller, I need to like build a really big swing to be able to do a big throw. So I'm really used to just doing a really big swing and doing a big throw, but like the way this obstacle is designed, it doesn't want you to get a big swing. Like especially being
Uh,
lighter, it makes it even harder because on
mhm.
my backswing, it would like pick me up. Like I was riding it. I wasn't doing the obstacle. The obstacle was taking me with it. So I was swinging for a while. Like I literally was just on that first one, just swinging for a while, and I just got to the point where I was like, I just gotta throw it and see what happens. Like so, it was like a hail mary because I was like, this is super far. So I ended up throwing it, and I got my fingertips on it, which is way closer than I thought I was gonna be, but not enough to be able to get my hands over it. So ended up going out on that, which was sad, but I was again just grateful that I got to go on the course. So
How did it feel being there, like, with I mean, I think about Sandy Zimmerman, and I'm like, "Yo, this chick is strong, and she's does such cool stuff," and Celissa Beard, like, Jess Lebrecht, like, I don't know if you I don't think you competed that day with Jess Lebrecht, but how did it feel just being there with such, like, a strong group of ladies, and, like, did you strategize together? Like, how did it feel being there with them?
Um, it was awesome. I mean, it's just so cool because I mean, being someone who has watched the show, and I always have been wanting to be amongst these top women. That's always been kind of what I want to do is be a top competitor. So seeing that I made it to that round with those other people, it just kind of made me seem like, okay, I'm doing something right here. So it was good, especially seeing people like Lebrecht who absolutely crush it. Like in I don't know, it was just cool to get to be there with all of them and get to be together.
Awesome. So now looking forward to season 13. Congratulations, by the way. Woo,
Thank
woo.
you. You
So nice.
too.
Thanks. Yeah. What are What are you doing differently, whether it's training wise or like just in your mindset and your strategizing? How do you feel like you're approaching season 13 differently? Or the same, maybe?
No, so this season, like preparing for the season has been completely different for me. So first off, I changed gym. So now I'm training at Vitality Obstacle Fitness. I have Jordan Thurston as a coach, and I have a different training group. So I'm training with Addie Herman, Sophia LaValle, Nolan LaJoy, Luke Dillon, Noah Muner. So we just have like a really good crew over there, and we all push each other a lot. But being under the directive of Jordan has definitely changed my mindset in a lot of things. So my first year, kind of second year, I think I focused a lot on doing individual obstacles. So whenever I would do a course, I would just like I had a hard time stringing obstacles together. So I was fine at individual obstacles, like very fine with those. But it was when I started stringing them together, I had a hard time like mentally getting myself be like, okay, we're done with that obstacle, we're going to another obstacle. So now being at Vitality, we do more course runs and we're more like flowing courses together, like obstacles together into a course. So I think that's made a big difference for me. And also the conditioning aspect. I actually feel like I'm training and not just going to the gym and kind of just seeing whatever obstacles up and just be like, yeah, let me try that. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, I did it. Now I'm done. It's actually like a training program. Like last night, I did um, a workout on the assault bike. So I did assault bike, um, and then I would go over and I did like flywheels to wingdings, and then I would go back on the assault bike, and I did that for like 8 rounds. So it was like actually conditioning workout. Like I was like heavy breathing, so that way when I'm in a course and I get tired, I'm going to be prepared for that. So it's definitely been very different going into this season. I don't know, knowing that I have the 2 years of A&W experience under my belt now, it's definitely prepared me more for this year than any others. And I now kind of know how to control my emotions on competing on the big stage too. So that'll be helpful as well to compete with more confidence.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And I think the conditioning piece is so important, and a lot of ninjas, like it's the running joke, right, that ninjas hate cardio, but I
Yep.
think it's so important, and I think that's something a lot of people just kind of like forget about because I think I don't know if it's true or if it's just in my mind, but I feel like ninjas are kind of ADD and like I want to get on that big fun obstacle and I want to do that and it's fun and woohoo. Oh, do this challenge. Oh, wait, training? This is training, right? Oh, wait, should I be doing like the things I don't want to do? Like I think that's where a lot of people are at. So I love hearing people like explain that they actually have a focus in a program because I think that's really good. And I think that will inevitably help our sport move forward and help more people understand like what should we be focusing on? How do you progress into obstacles? Like how do we build a ninja program? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's where it's like where you have like the pros and cons of Ninja. Like it's so great that Ninja's such a good community and everyone wants to be friends and hang out with each other. So when we get in the gym, we're like, oh, like these are my friends. Like mostly all my friends are ninjas. So it's like when you go in the gym, like, oh, this is me hanging out with my friends. But you have to be able to separate the two. It's like, okay, there's time to be able to hang out and like you can have nights where you just play on obstacles. That's fine. But you need to know like if that's part of your training plan, then that's okay. So you need to or get your work done, like your work specific plan and workout done first, and then you can kind of play on obstacles and hang out with the other people in the gym. So it's a matter of just trying to stay focused can be hard in a ninja gym, especially when there's just obstacles everywhere. You're just like, oh, well, that looks fun, and then you see someone try like a new random challenge. Like that's the other thing is like you see someone do like a random
Yeah,
challenge. You're like, I'm gonna go try that. And it's like, no, do your workout first, and then you can go try that.
exactly. Yep. Absolutely. I know
Yep.
I have this. We're gonna get into this a little bit later too, but I'm just gonna switch it around on our little list here. Jordan, you just mentioned Jordan from Vitality. He was just on the podcast not 2 weeks ago. When this airs, it'll be 2 weeks. So I was wondering if you might mind sharing just what are some of your thoughts from the episode and like did some of what he explained resonate with you, being that you do train with him and are trying to follow more programming within Vitality? Like, how did that resonate with you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm so grateful to have Jordan as a coach. Like, he's made such a big impact on me as an athlete. And he's a big reason I've been able to progress so much this year. I definitely see where he's coming from and agree with a lot of what he said on the podcast. Like, I agree that females have to be more conditioned in order to be able to handle the stresses of the course that are put on our bodies, especially. when we have those like upper body explosive moves that generally kind of favor males. So we have to be more conditioned to be able to handle those, especially later in the course. Um, I think it would be good to do some obstacles like mid or later in the course a little bit different. Like I think like in terms of when we're looking at the different courses for different people. Um, like I think a lot of the fear with especially like highly competitive females is that we never want the courses to be made easier for us. Like that's I think that's because we're like we can still like we're super strong. Like we don't need the courses to be made easier for us. I think it more or less has to do with the course design, kind of like how they talked about Ninja Mania with Ryan Tanner's course, and he does a really good job creating a fair course to accommodate men, women, and then also heights. Like I know he always like is like making it accommodating for me to be able to just get to the obstacle, which is like such a huge thing for me. I'm like, I just want to be able to get to the obstacle. Once I'm on the obstacle, make it as far as you want. I don't care, but I just want to get to the obstacle. Um, so, but at the same time, like we know that like Abby Clark and Jessie LeBrecq have both won NNLs between males and females. So like it's clearly possible that females can win these competitions overall. Um, but I know it's a matter of like looking at the growth of the sport and what's the best in that aspect. One of the ideas that some of us, when we were talking about, thought of was maybe changing the time limits. So not changing the course, but maybe changing the time limit. So, like, let's say, for example, like stage one of Worlds last year. So finally, when we got to see ninjas, like female ninjas that cleared that fourth obstacle, they didn't have enough time to clear the rest of the course. Like the time was running out by the time they got to the fifth or sixth obstacle. I don't know. So I think there's definitely a lot. Like Jordan makes a lot of good points, and I know I like the way that he trains us. Like he works us really hard, and I appreciate that, and I'm all for that. Um, at this point, for me, I think like I try and focus on what I can and can't control. So I can't control the course. I can't control the rules. I can't control the time limit. So I focus on what I can control, which is my effort and training. So that's what I'm going to focus on. So if people want to change things and they want to have them different or not, like, okay, I'm going to train for whatever is kind of thrown my way. As a ninja, you got to be prepared for anything. So right now I'm focusing on what we have right now, which is us being on the same course. So
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I do think like there is such a fine line between like offending women and trying to empower women, right? And I
correct.
definitely don't want to offend anyone and I don't want to offend myself, right? I mean, I've been
Yeah.
competing in ninja just as long as most of the people listening to this podcast. So, it's like, yes, how do we still show that women are incredibly strong and we've always been so proud of the fact that we compete on the same exact course and do the same exact thing. But it is that fine line between like our pride and like what we want to showcase, but versus what might actually be best as a whole for the entire sport. And I don't think I perfectly know the answer yet either, but it is something that I'm really dedicated to exploring more and doing more research, talking to more professionals outside of ninja who might have a different, broader perspective than we do. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I think also, like, coming from a gymnastics background too, seeing that there's
Mhm.
men's and women's gymnastics and they have different events. Like,
Yeah.
because they're showcasing how like we are different. Like that's just
Hmm.
how it is. We are different on some level.
Hmm.
So it's not like the uneven bars is easier than the high bar, but it's just different. So
Hmm.
I mean, coming from a gymnastics background, that's just where my head's at because the sport
Yeah.
is split between men and women. So
Absolutely. Same with like the CrossFit games. I mean, they do the same events, but it's like maybe a different amount of load or different number of how many of something they're doing or whatever. But still the same thing
yep,
and still pretty darn impressive either way.
for
So
sure. I love the CrossFit games. So you're
yeah.
preaching to me right now. I
Yeah.
follow them for motivation all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was also wondering, could you tell us about Team Monstro?
Oh yeah. So I'm super excited to be a part of Team Monstro, which is
Woo.
a group of sponsored athletes that represent the Ninja Hold company, non Monstro Ninja Holds. Yeah, we're kind of just a group of athletes that are just not focusing about competing in sport, but just kind of being the best version of yourself. So I'm really excited to be a part of the Monstro family.
Yeah, Monstro. Woo.
Yeah, let's
Monstro.
go.
Yes. Good old Eric Totten and Liz from Monster Holds have been longtime Ninja Babe supporters, and actually, quick thank you to them. They've always helped me with so many things. I mean, honestly, they made my like jerseys, like the shirt that I competed in on ANW 10 and ANW 11. Like they've always just been such family in the ninja world, and so I appreciate Monstro so much. And yeah, they I think Team Mantra is really cool, and it's just awesome to just see avenues where athletes can have more support and just have different companies really partner with us as athletes and work together and all that. And Eric competes himself, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason that I love it too is because it does have that family feel to it where it's such a group of just good people who want to see the best for each other. So that's why I'm so grateful to be part of it.
Yes. And then I was checking up the stats today. So for everyone who's listening, today is February 11th, 2021. So, right?
Yep.
Am I right? Okay.
Yes, you're right. I was checking. I was like, is it? I was like, is it really already the 11th?
Okay, good. Yeah, today's February 11th. And as of today in the NNL standings, so I was just checking them out, you are in second for elite females, which is pretty amazing. Congratulations. That's really cool. So you've had 100 points in 12 competitions, which is pretty cool. I just wrote down who we got in the top 5 right now. So we got Addie Herman standing in first place. Then after you, third is Rachel DeGutz, 86 points, 10 comps. Fourth is Casey Rothschild, and then fifth is Jennifer Stefano. So that's really amazing, and I love that I know all these ninjas. Like I might not know them all like very personally. I mean, I know Rachel really well. I know Casey and Jennifer. I don't know Addie as well, but I've heard of them from through the grapevine of the ninja world and just like seeing people on Instagram. So it's just really cool to see that like our East Coast ninjas are like really crushing it. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun competing this year. So I'm excited to be that high up in the standing. So I'm excited
yeah.
about it.
That's awesome. How have
Yes.
you done a lot more NNLs this year than previous years, or like what has it been like for you doing competitions?
I've competed so much more this year compared to past years. I want to say like my the past 2 seasons, I think I competed in like 4 competitions every season, and now obviously, what do you say, 12 competitions this year? So it's definitely been different, especially because now that there's skills competitions. Um, I think that it kind of adds more that are around here, which is kind of cool. But I find a lot of benefit in competing more often because every competition you do, you're doing a different course, you are tested on a different skill set, and you're gaining more experience. So you can kind of see like, oh, I did not do well in this course because of this, so there might be a gap in my training, or I did really good in that. Okay, so I'm doing this right. So it's a good way to kind of balance your training to make sure that you're doing the right things in training.
Yeah, for sure. I always think it is such like a good like litmus test if you want to say to see in real time like what is actually going on if your training is paying off like you're saying and just how it feels to be competing and getting those nerves up so that when you if you make it to A&W the first time you step on the A&W course isn't like your first competition. I know for some people it is, which always blows my mind. But yeah, I think competing in any way, whether it's NNL or USNL coming up if you want to go out for that, or UNAA, there's so many different leagues and I think all of them have their own unique benefit and some of their own unique spin on how they're showcasing ninja. So,
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot up here in the Northeast. Like with so many gyms up
mhm.
here, we have so many different opportunities. Like we have NINA, which is the New England Ninja Association. So we have those competitions, and they're structured differently. Like you get to practice. Like for some of the tiers, you get to like practice on the obstacles beforehand and then go out and compete on them. So it's kind of cool to get different experience. And I know Lucas Real is starting a kind of competition format up here with that's going to have all different kinds of formats within it. So it's nice getting those different experiences and different exposures to different things.
All right, so we're coming up on the end of our regular podcast episode, Taylor. We are actually just started doing some bonus content through Patreon. So those of you who are Patreon subscribers will be able to listen to the rest of the podcast episode on Patreon and you'll get some bonus material there. But for everyone else who's just listening on the regular episode, this is the end. So Taylor, thank you for being on and I really appreciate you being here. We're going to move into the second part of our episode, but let's just say goodbye quick to everyone who's not part of Patreon. So,
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I was excited to be on here today, so thank you. Be strong, be you, be a ninja babe.